You just checked your phone. Maybe 30 seconds ago, maybe less. And if you think back, you probably can't remember why. There was no specific reason, no one you were waiting to hear from, no urgent task. Your hand just moved, your eyes just dropped, and for a moment, the pull was stronger than whatever you were doing before. That's not a bad habit. That's not weakness. That is one of the oldest and most powerful neurological systems in the human body, running exactly the way it was designed to run. The real answer to why you can't stop checking your phone has nothing to do with technology. It has everything to do with how your brain learned to survive on a savanna 200,000 years ago. Your brain was not built for certainty. It was built for uncertainty. This is a distinction that changes everything. For the vast majority of human existence, the difference between knowing and not knowing was the difference between life and death. Was that sound in the grass a predator or the wind? Was that berries on that bush safe or poisonous? Did the stranger approaching your camp mean harm or trade? Your brain developed an extraordinary sensitivity to unresolved questions because unresolved questions were dangerous. Leaving them unanswered could kill you. Neuroscientist Jack Panksepp, one of the foundational researchers in effective neuroscience, identified a system in the brain he called the seeking system. This is a dedicated neural circuit that drives mammals toward exploration and information gathering. It doesn't activate when you've found the answer. It activates specifically in the presence of the unknown. And it feels good. Not the same way food or rest feels good, a more restless, urgent kind of good, a compulsion to look, to check, to find out. That system is running inside you right now, and your phone is the most perfectly designed trigger for it that has ever existed. Think about what a notification actually is. It is a signal that something has changed in your environment, something you don't know yet, information that exists but hasn't reached you. Your brain does not evaluate that notification rationally. It doesn't ask whether the information matters or whether you actually want to see it. It registers one thing. There is something unknown and you can resolve it right now. The seeking system fires. Your hand moves. This is not metaphor. Researcher Robert Sapolsky at Stanford University has spent decades mapping the neuroscience of reward, and what he found reframes everything about why checking your phone feels so urgent. The dopamine spike in your brain does not peak when you receive a reward. It peaks in the anticipation of a possible reward. The maybe is more powerful than the yes. Unpredictable rewards produce dramatically stronger dopamine responses than predictable ones. You never know if the next check will bring something meaningful or nothing at all. And that uncertainty is precisely what makes it impossible to put down. Sapolsky calls this the power of intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes you check and there's nothing. Sometimes you check and there's a message from someone you've been thinking about. Sometimes you check and a post you made has 20 responses. The randomness is not a flaw in the system. The randomness is the system. The slot machine doesn't pay every time. That's the whole point. If it paid every time, you'd play once and walk away. The unpredictability is what keeps you pulling the lever. Your brain can't tell the difference between a slot machine and your inbox. They activate the same neural circuitry. They hijack the same ancient system, the one that kept your ancestors alive by making uncertainty unbearable, and the resolution of uncertainty feel like relief. But there's a layer to this that goes even deeper than dopamine. Because checking your phone isn't just about information. It's about social information. And for a social species like humans, social information was always the most critical information of all. For hundreds of thousands of years, your survival depended entirely on your position within a group. Being liked, trusted, and valued by the people around you was not a luxury. It was survival infrastructure. If you were excluded from the group, you died. If your reputation fell, your access to resources fell with it. If someone was angry with you and you didn't know, that was a threat that could escalate while you weren't paying attention. Your brain developed a hair trigger sensitivity to social signals. A glance, a tone, a change in someone's behavior toward you. These were data points that required constant monitoring. Psychologist Roy Baumeister at the University of Queensland has documented what he calls the belongingness hypothesis, the finding that humans have a fundamental biological need to monitor and maintain social bonds. Not a preference, a need, rooted in survival. And part of that monitoring system is the constant low-level anxiety about what you don't know. Has someone responded? Has someone reacted? Has something changed in your social world while you weren't looking? Your phone is a social signal device. Every notification is a potential social data point. A like is a status update. A comment is a relationship signal. A message is a social bond being activated or maintained. Your brain processes every unread notification as an unresolved social unknown, and unresolved social unknowns feel threatening in the same deep, ancient way that unresolved physical unknowns did on the savannah. This is why the pull is so hard to resist. It's not that you lack discipline, it's that you're using discipline to fight a system that evolution spent 200,000 years optimizing to override your discipline. And the people who built your phone knew this. They didn't stumble onto these patterns by accident. The variable reward schedule, the notification badge, the red dot, the sound that arrives without warning. These are all deliberate applications of the same neuroscience Sapolsky and Panksepp documented. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris has described the smartphone notification system as a slot machine you carry in your pocket, designed by teams of engineers whose entire job was to maximize the number of times per day you reach for it. You are not fighting a bad habit. You are fighting a product engineered specifically to exploit your oldest survival instincts. So what do you do with that? The first thing is to stop blaming yourself. The compulsion to check is not a character flaw. It is a neurological response to a deliberately constructed trigger. Recognizing it as such is not an excuse to surrender to it. It is the beginning of actually being able to respond to it rather than just react. The second thing is to understand what the brain is actually asking for when the urge arrives. It's asking for resolution of uncertainty, and you can learn to notice the urge, name it, and ask whether the uncertainty it's pointing at is real or manufactured. Is there actually something unknown that matters? Or has a system designed to monetize your attention convinced your ancient brain that there is? The third thing is to respect the depth of what you're working with. This isn't a willpower problem. It is an evolutionary mismatch. The seeking system was built for a world where the unknown meant something, where checking the horizon for predators was worth doing, where social monitoring was life or death. It wasn't built for a world where a team of engineers could manufacture an infinite supply of artificial unknowns and deliver them directly to your nervous system on demand. You live in that world now, and the gap between the brain you have and the environment you're in is one of the defining tensions of modern human life. The next time your hand moves toward your phone without you deciding to reach for it, pause for just a moment. Not to judge yourself, just to notice. Because what you're feeling in that instant is not weakness. It's 200,000 years of survival engineering, firing exactly the way it was designed to. The question isn't why you can't stop checking your phone. The question is, now that you know what's actually happening, what do you choose to do next?